And Silverberg. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you to another edition of the Rare Book Cafe. We want everyone watching this program on replay, and thank you for joining us. I'm Steve the Bookman Eisenstein. I'm being joined today by Thorne Donnelley of Liberty Books in Palm Beach. Later in the show, we are going to hopefully be connected with Owen Felix, who is in a town in Ireland that the town has nothing but bookstores in it, and we want to sign up to run the bookstore for 2 weeks down the road. I don't get enough of that here.
That's not in Ireland. That's in Scotland. But,
Scotland. I'm sorry. Okay.
But Owen Felix, I hope will jump in, and if he's able to, sometimes the connections are such that it may not be possible, but if he's here and you can type in a comment, and Henry, welcome.
Yeah, I want to welcome everybody that's joining us. Old Tampa Book Company, Steve Kimmerling, who is the program director at WDBFradio.com. Steve, if you want to come on camera, I know if anybody knows how, you do. Come join us. Henry, it's always a pleasure. Owen, thank you for joining us. We were at the Brooklyn Book Fair today. Thorne, I think we want to go there. I mean, it sounds like
I was listening to your show, and it sounded good.
So anyway, I want to welcome everybody. And as I said, we have regular guests and we have people joining us, and we're always looking for your comment. Later in the program, as always, my wife Edie will be on with Edie's Miniature Book Corner. She's going to be passing by the camera in a minute. Also, our Hidden Treasures, The Third Degree, and Burning Questions. So, as always, visitors to our live show, you can send comments, click away, we'll be watching, and later in the program, if you have a question about antiquarian books, any one of us would be happy to answer it for you. If you have a question, type a / in the letter Q in the right-hand corner before you start your message, and we will know it's a question coming in. And if you want to give anybody kudos, the little applause meter, that's what that is. If you like what somebody's saying or doing, we definitely don't get paid for this. It's a labor of love. But at the end of the day, somebody buys beer at the book fair, whoever has the most accumulated points at the end of the show. So thank you for joining us. All right. Well, we always start the show out with the hidden treasures aspect. And basically, the hidden treasures aspect is a chance for book dealers or even anybody that's coming in with a question where we can show you some things that we've either talked about on air, things that you might have that we can answer questions for, but it's based on the things you will see in our shops. So, Thorne, last week you had Nixon signatures walking in the door and a few other good things. Are the salmon still swimming strongly upstream, and did they walk through the door with more?
They did this week with a couple things. The first I thought I'd do was share something to prove that I was listening to your show, but perhaps to help some other some people that aren't actually book dealers out. You ended up talking about how people should send you books, bring you books. And one of the points you brought up was look at the illustrations. Well, I'm going to show you an embarrassing story about a very nice book. It's called The Riviera, and it's got all kinds of lovely illustrations in there. I'll show you one here. A friend of mine came in a friend of mine from the University of Virginia, sent a friend of his into my store, because that guy is actually a professor at the University of Illinois, and he collects travel books, and he happened to like this book. And so he did something. It has in it 69, I'm looking here, 75 illustrations. I just showed you a couple of them. I looked through this book pretty well, but not completely. And as you well know where this story is going, he gets the page here that starts with list of illustrations. I want to make sure that comes up so you can see that. And naturally, the last 5 or 6 illustrations of the book, and some of these illustrations are really quite nice, had been cut out, and I didn't catch it. So that's something that just for a word, if there's a list of illustrations in here, now this is an unusual book. It's a travel book with 75 illustrations, 1880 something or another. But if you are bringing a book to a bookseller, please, before you bring it to us, make sure the illustrations are there. I have many books that I have. I keep this one around right here. It is a lovely book about Switzerland. It's 18th century, 17-something. I keep it because I like.
You're not hitting the camera well with the book. It's a nice book.
It's just an old Swiss book. I love to keep it because it's a great example of the printer's art. Every illustration has been cut out of here. So what was a $500 book to me cost me nothing. I like it because I can show people things about printing and not worry about ruining a book. But
was that the book that you had that you just showed? Who's the publisher of that book? Is that A.C. Black? I asked.
Which one? The Swiss book?
Yeah, the first one, the blue cloth.
No, the blue cloth? Let me take a look here. Because I had something else I was going to show you and tell you a funny story, but we can take a quick look.
Oh, please do. Please do.
It is. You know what? The title page was cut out. This one also, the title page was cut out too.
Yeah, there are a series of travel books look exactly like what you showed with other titles, and I'm pretty sure Black was the publisher. Yeah, it's a problem. What else?
Here's a fun one. You know, I like association copies. I'm going to show you two great association copies in a minute. But this is one I was working on while I was listening to you on the radio. The first part of it, you might notice the title. Give me a quick language check on that, will you? I'll tell you right now, it's in Welsh.
Welsh.
Okay. So that's not something we get a lot of call from, but I love association copies. So I go to the for freehand paper, and I see this. And I'm trying to get it up on the camera there. And what it says is Captain Thomas Jones of the schooner Margaret Jones of Aberystwyth. I was researching while you were talking. I was listening to you. But I was able to go into some of my research areas. I found Captain Jones, and he commanded a schooner that was from a Welsh town, which is why this is a Welsh book. And it was interesting. Unfortunately, he's nobody famous, nothing too valuable, but at least it's fun to go. But on the other hand, this little darling came in last week. It's called Wyndham's Tour from 1781. As you can see, it's a very nice binding on the outside, pretty good shape. But what's the most interesting part of this is the book plate in it. If you see the book plate here, those of us that are old enough to remember, it's from Douglas Fairbanks, the movie actor's private library. So the provenance on this is kind of an interesting book. It's also signed by Mr. Grimm, unfortunately not Grimm's Fairies, 1781. He was the illustrator. It's a book. It's called A Tour Through the Monmouthshire and Wales, only this one's in English. But it's just interesting to see some of the provenance that comes from this, and then having Douglas Fairbanks. And then this is one thing to show you good and bad. We have here a heritage copy of Green Mansions. It's a nice, slipcase. You can have it for $25 for you. I'll make you a special deal, $20, okay? The lovely book. I'll even throw in the slipcase for it. But if you have the real copy,
one person.
What?
Would it go from one person or separate people?
Well, these have come in various places. I just wanted to have something to talk about today. I did get this one, the next one. The first version of Green Mansions, I believe, was published. I'm not terribly sure. But this one is actually, it is a Random House, or Knopf, 1943. But what's interesting about this one, here now we go to gilt. We go to a lovely leather. We go to, this is not a heritage edition by any stretch of the imagination. The book plate in here is a guy by the name of M.C. Gaines. Lovely book plate. If he rings a bell, don't worry about it. If it doesn't, he was the man that pretty much invented the comic book, the format of the magazine, the cheap papers, the small size, whatever. It belonged to a lady, those of us remember will know, Claire Bluefluce, who was the ambassador to England, probably the most powerful American woman, married to Mr. Luce, who owned the Time magazine situation. He was a publisher of Time magazine. And it's also signed by Mr. Butler, who did these lovely illustrations for it. So needless to say, this one you can't, I'll just do some here. And this is one of his illustrations, Butler's illustrations, and in the back is a colophon that has notes on the production of the volume. It talks about the type, that it was designed and produced under the supervision of a Rudolf Ruzicka, composed and printed by Plimpton Press. So it's telling everything. These guys were pretty proud of their book when they come up with a whole page like this on who printed it, who set the type, whatever. This one you cannot have for $25. But I was just showing, I wanted to show the differences, and effectively.
Thorne, hold on one second. Owen, I see you. Can you hear me?
Aha.
Hold on. Owen, type something if you can hear me. We're doing a little exploring here.
Okay, we're not worry about them.
We are. Go ahead, keep going, Thorne. Keep going.
Okay, you're clicking on him, but we need to have him.
His audio's not up.
Yeah. Owen, can you hear us? We cannot hear you.
Sending him in a minute. Owen's in Ireland. For those of you who are with us, Owen is in Ireland. Correct me if I said it wrong again. Scotland. Thank you. Owen is in.
This is a little bit of the difference. I was in Wales just now with these books.
It's funny. Maybe he won them. And we are trying to bring him in. It just shows the modern communication methodologies. It is just so amazing. Felix Rare Books, hi. Got a question? Or if you can get on, we have one open seat right now. Anybody that's out there that wants to join us, we have an open seat. I hear you, Owen, but I see you, but I don't hear you. No, I'm sending him a message. No sound. Owen, this would be the time for whoever runs this website before their IPO, if it's not, to climb in here and tell us what we need to do.
Right.
Thanks. Okay. Allan, I know you're listening. Maybe you want to jump in because you could probably guide him.
He's gonna cry.
Just a minute. We're getting somebody else on.
Hi, Felix. Welcome. We're glad that you've joined us. Can you hear us? If you can hear us, let us know. I think I heard you just a little bit there.
It says, "This is new to me. I can see you, but cannot hear."
Owen, wave if you can hear us. No, not you. Owen.
Yeah, he can't.
Type something. Owen, type something. We're working it out.
He says,
I'll tell you what.
He can see us but not hear us.
Well, no, wait. I'm wondering if he's getting. I'm spelling wrong too. Type something.
He looks like he's getting the frustration button.
But does he, Allan? He would have this instant messaging in the corner, right?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody said, whoever is. Well, do you have? Okay, you're in communication with him.
Only right here.
Yeah, okay, you sent it, but he's not responding. Bear with us, folks. Thorne, anything else walking in the store?
Interesting things have walked in the store. This is kind of going to be things you told me once, and I want to stress that Mr. James Patterson used to be a neighbor of mine. I like him very much. I don't know him very well. He's done a lot for booksellers. But the big joke about James Patterson and everybody is his books are worth more money if they're not signed. Because quite frankly, he goes out and signs it. Well, this walked in this week. It is for you. It is not signed by James Patterson. However, it has the distinction of being his very first book and a first edition of that. Which makes that a little more interesting. This walked in.
we used to say that about Jack Kofed books in Miami. The unsigned copy was rarer. He was a Miami Herald writer. Now we lost Owen.
I think he'll come back.
Okay. The rarer copy was unsigned.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, unless you got something, I'll take a turn on that one. You have something else that you would like to uncover in the hidden treasures aspect?
Oh, one last one.
Sure.
I just like to talk about, I got this advanced reader's edition, which, you don't see that many of them. And it's of a fairly well-known book, Jurassic Park. And it's also actually signed by Michael Crichton.
What would you price the signed Jurassic Park at now?
I will tell you within a second. You can have it for $550.
If it was unsigned or signed?
Signed.
Unsigned.
Hello, Felix.
Hello.
Felix.
Hello, everybody. I'm Felix.
Felix.
Welcome.
Welcome to my library.
Felix, you're out of camera.
I'm sorry. I'm not used to this technology. This is some of my books.
Wonderful.
One of the rarest books I have is Tyndale's book, The Only One in the World, by William Tyndale, this Bible. 1534.
Oh, wow.
Hold it a little further away. You guys are holding the books up too close to the camera.
Can you see?
A little further away.
Very dark. You're dark. We've got to be more aware of lighting.
Oh, that's good.
Wow, nice.
That's very nice.
You could teach Roman numeral counting on a program like this. Very hard to do on the radio.
Many years ago, I lived down in Florida.
You did?
This is my library. This here is my library. And I got some very old American books going back to 1700 and an old one going back to 1488.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He wants to look at your books.
Hello.
Hello, nice to see you.
Nice to be seen.
Nice to be seen, to be seen, to be nice.
Do you specialize in anything, Owen?
I specialize in early English Bibles. I hold the biggest private collection in the world.
Wow, nice. And tell us about, it's not this town, is it? Am I mixing it up?
Go on.
Are you in the place where people rent the bookstore for 2 weeks?
Certainly not.
No.
Not your store.
That's in Scotland.
Yes,
okay.
I'm in Ireland, the land of leprechauns.
Sorry. I wish I could find one these days.
Stephen, he is in Tipperary.
I'm in Tipperary in Ireland.
In Ireland, I gave it to you.
We're in Ireland. We have a friend, only because it's a small world. Michael Horgan lives. I don't know. Michael Horgan's a teacher. Do you know a teacher by the name of Michael Horgan? Only because it's a small world.
It's a very small world. Where did you?
He's one of our listeners on Bucks on the Bookshelf. We also have a radio. What we do now is on WDBFradio.com, which you can listen to also. There's a radio program, Bucks on the Bookshelf. What we do is we come over and to Blab, and we talk about what we can visualize on the Rare Book Cafe. It's the only show of its kind in the world, especially on Blab.
It's fantastic.
What else can you show us? I'm fascinated by your shelves.
I've got 5,000 books. I've got the earliest printing books, and I've got some books going back to the 4th century.
What is you have something in your store that looks like a book that's not a book. What is it?
Like, for example, what?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have to have things that look like books that aren't, or am I wrong?
No, I've got everything in the house are books.
I know that. That's why I said it. It takes one to know one.
How far are you from Cork?
I'm about 40 minutes.
I gave a lecture. When I got my PhD, one of the requirements was to give a lecture and I was able to go to the University of Cork to give a lecture about 10 years ago. It was I had a lovely time there.
Right. Yeah. Well, I live here. I love Ireland. I love the weather. It rains a lot, but hey, it's great.
Well, and they have lots of little leprechauns, as I understand.
They have many little leprechauns in Ireland. Many. I'm just showing you more the background of the books and stuff and my antiques. I have a big collection. This house is a couple of 100 years old. It's one of the oldest houses in the town that I restored.
Wonderful. How fun.
Does it have indoor plumbing?
This
Yeah.
is the famous American.
Whoa.
This is signed. Guess who?
Remington.
Frederick Remington.
Yeah, I was
Gorgeous.
right about it.
Wow.
Wow, that's
It's
great.
called Bronco Billy.
Who cast that?
Oh, wow.
It was cast in New York in the refinery in New York.
Nice. Very nice. A hitherto unknown copy just rediscovered. Beautiful. What are you walking around with, Owen? A laptop? Oh, your iPhone. He's got the iPhone. Something working.
No,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm going upstairs to show you the rest.
Wow.
These are Rubens, the first Rubens prints.
My.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was Irish.
Well, no. Everybody's Irish. This up here is my workroom because I also restore books.
Ah.
This is my restoration room.
Wow.
Let's see your book press, Owen. Or book presses.
I got huge book presses at the end, and another one here, and my library again here.
What kind of stack of antique paper do you have? You got everything, my friend.
I have everything required, yeah.
Do you have a tool section?
Yes.
I want to see your Bob Vila roulettes and things.
Well, they're all here. Nibbles, they're all over the place.
Wow.
I got all the different things and things I need, and cutters and brushes.
Now, are there any of these tools? I know some of the tools will be new, but are any of these tools several hundred years old tools, older tools that you can't buy anymore?
Yeah. All the tools I have are originals.
Oh, okay.
I have no new tools.
What map is that? Is that a map?
Yes, that's a map of the world.
What year?
1520.
Gorgeous. Yeah, I mean, I can't even see all of it, but it's gorgeous.
Do they still have dragons
What
then?
is that map selling
Yes,
for?
of course we have dragons.
Owen, what's the price on that map in dollars or euros?
It's not for sale.
If it was, what would it be?
I'd expect 200,000 or 300,000.
Wow. Gorgeous.
I'm interested in
I
your
smelled
tools.
it from here.
Did you buy a set, or have you been finding them at like flea markets and stuff over the years? How did you start?
Yeah. I've been buying for about 45 years.
Okay.
And I buy private collections. I go around to old vicarage, the old vicars, and I buy stuff off them. I'm
Okay.
the only one that advertises in the church times, and I buy very rare books, as rare as I can get.
Ah,
What got you started
interesting.
in rare books?
I don't know. It's in my blood.
Okay. I went to a garage sale. I bought a book for $5 and sold it for $75. The rest is history since 1968.
Well, I bought a book and I sold it and I got $2 million.
Wow. What did you find the book on a shelf, or was it in a
I
weird
found it on the
place?
shelf.
There's a new book coming out that you might be interested in reading. The authoress's name is Rebecca Rago Barry.
Yeah.
And her Rare Books Uncovered. It's 50 stories about people who found rare books in odd places, not on the shelf.
Yeah, and most of my books are big folios like this.
Oh,
This is the Bible. This is the Bible in Welsh. an early edition of a Welsh Bible.
Define early edition in numbers.
Oh,
And this is my Welsh book right here.
Oh, very good. I like that one. That's gorgeous. What year is that?
1854.
1854.
Yeah. It came into my shop. I got some Welsh books. I have a question for you.
This is 1700.
All right. I understand that there's a very interesting, and I'm hearing all kinds of strange stories, and maybe you'd know better, that a copy of the Magna Carta surfaced about a year ago in Great Britain somewhere. Is that true?
I heard something similar, yes.
It was a truly...
And now for original copies of the Constitution of the United States.
Wow.
We the people.
Yeah.
And Bill of Rights in Congress.
Did you say you have that?
Yes,
I
do.
Showed you on the wall.
There were 22 copies done by a guy called Stone in 1800 something.
William Stone. A copy just sold at auction for $577,000.
Yeah, that's okay. They're in my private.
Yeah, I hear you. Wow. How did you find these things?
Because I'm a maniac collector.
Okay, so I ask you, is it from, a book deal? You can ask me anything in the world.
Folio. Shakespeare's first folio.
Oh.
Oh, I'm moving to Ireland. You know what? We just don't find books like that here.
This book here?
And everything. What you found, did you travel around Europe to find, or did you find them without leaving the country?
No, I traveled to Europe extensively. This book here is done on skin. This is the first book Henry VIII done for his son. The only book in the world on skin, vellum. And this was given by Anne Boleyn to Henry for his son.
I am in awe.
Yeah.
And
wow.
There's Henry's. That's Henry's mark, and this is the son's coat of arms.
I want to know if he's married and if his wife.
No, don't wait. Wow.
Wow, I am.
Owen, my wife wants to know if you're married and if your wife is in the book business with you.
No, I was married, but I love my books more than I love my wife.
I have a question for you.
I gotta stop laughing. You're a pip, my friend. You're a pip.
And it's a choice between. She asked me one day if there was a fire in the house, which would I say, her or the books? And I said the books first.
Wow.
They don't like that kind of thing.
Owen, when you're in Ireland around, in 100-mile radius of where you are.
Yes.
Are there, do they have garage sales, estate sales, all of that stuff like that?
No, I find that 99.99% of people I buy off have no idea a book, its value, or anything else. And I'm not there to educate people.
There's something I have to say that is a message. It's a subliminal message. I hurt my back. I am in a lot of pain. Thus, I am slouching. I'm trying not to. Okay? It's a joke. Somebody will get that joke out in the listening audience right now. Wow, you are phenomenal. Thorne, questions for Owen?
I have a question for you.
Please.
My last name is Donnelley. So I perhaps
yes, the great Irish name.
And what would you say outside of the Book of Kells or something like that would be the epitome of Irish literature?
I didn't hear what you said. There was interference.
Hold on, there's a couple of boats going by. It might be me.
Yeah, it's you, Steve. Okay. I was wondering, rather than something like the Book of Kells, what would be the epitome of Irish literature, Irish book skills that you have seen or possess? An Irish book.
This book here.
Sounds like somebody's working on the transatlantic cable. Are you getting that background noise?
This book here.
Yeah.
I bought it at bankrupt. This is one of the early books from 1599 with early maps of Ireland and castles and battles in Ireland in 1599.
Aha, beautiful.
I wonder if he has anything pictured here.
Can you see it?
I've seen it, and it's beautiful.
These were the great battles that Elizabeth I, before she died, fought in Ireland, in which 100,000 Irish people lost their lives fighting for freedom.
Yes.
And the Donnelleys were a great Irish family here in Ireland. That's a great Irish name. There's some noise in the background. What is that?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out.
I have a.
It's not boats. I don't have any boats here right now. Are we better now?
No, I can still hear it.
It seems to be. I think it's coming off of you, Owen, as you're moving around.
Sounds like a little birdie.
Yes, we are, Henry. We are attracting the aliens.
Now, this book here was the book that Christopher Columbus used on his ship. It's called Travels to the Orient by Sir John Mandeville, and he used this because he expected to find China rather than the United States. And I bought this in Italy. A few years ago. It's the only book in private hands owned by Columbus, the travel book. It was published in 1488.
Interesting. You have a very eclectic collection.
And that's Sir John Mandeville. And that's the book, printer's device, and the date, 1488, the top of it.
Yes.
Another rare book of my collection.
It's a beautiful. I know Ireland is famous for lovely weather. What do you have? Do you have to have a air conditioning and humidifying system in your house to protect it, or?
No. This is Ireland. We get great weather for holding books.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. But the house is very secure. The walls of my house are 2.5 feet thick.
Okay. So your temperature control is fine.
It's perfect. Yeah. Can you hear that?
I can hear you fine.
Right. What books do you collect? You got a nice collection behind you.
Wait, hold on.
Behind me are my reference books.
But then I won't be able to get
I have been starting to collect from Floriana, but primarily I'm kind of a failed specialist. I've become a generalist because I live in a very affluent area. Right. I have no idea what's walking through the door. So I look at it as every day is Christmas, and I no longer have a wife, but my girlfriend wants me to remember at all times that these books are not my children, and they're all for sale. And she really likes it when I sell the expensive books a whole lot. So nothing stays too long, I'm afraid. The only thing I really collect are my family's in the printing business in America, United States. We actually have a plant in Ireland, I believe. And so a lot of the times we started in 1864, and so occasionally we still are in business. So we see a brand new New York American bestsellers we print. But so I like to occasionally I collect some of our older books printed by my family.
Right.
Yeah, so and some are of huge value. You call it over at your side of the pond a book called The Whale by Mr. Melville. We call it Moby Dick. But so we were one of the first to have done the Moby Dick is somewhat valuable here in the various editions. But so I try to collect my family's books. Some are not as valuable as they could be, but it's more of a hobby. It's not really the business. The business is we get a lot. Oddly enough, I've been getting a fair number of 18th and 19th century French books.
All right, yes.
So it's just hard to say what comes through. I go to the American University of Virginia every summer for some graduate work. So I've been getting a lot into British book plates. And so those have become a fascination to me. I got some from Barings Bank recently, some of their collection. So but again, I found it just doesn't work for me to specialize. It's more fun for me to get a new field and see what I can learn about that.
Owen, my wife has a question.
Please.
Do you have miniature books?
Do I have what? Yes.
Miniatures.
Yes, of course.
Can we see some?
Yes.
Come in.
I can't hear.
It's not going to work.
It's 1.5 inches. This is one of the smallest, thinnest Bibles in the world. It's 2 inches by 1/2 inch width.
Wow.
What year is that Bible?
1700.
Wow.
And then I got Lord Byron's works in the miniature book from 1820.
Nice.
I got lots in here in this little place.
Any 4-edge paintings?
Any who?
4-edge paintings. Four-edge paintings.
What's 4-edge paintings?
Yeah. Oh, we love no 4-edge. We love them. 4 edges are beautiful.
When they're on here?
Oh, yes, on them, yes.
What do you call them? What do you call them?
I think in a minute. Yeah, there is a name for them. I should have known immediately. Yeah, I 1 second. I'll see where it is. I have a couple.
I think you were thinking a dirty thought about something else.
No, I didn't say foreplay edges. I said 4-edge.
Be careful of your language, gentlemen.
We all speak English, but there's some little variations in the old tongue.
Book today, banned tomorrow.
I also have the earliest books on the Mormonism and how it came. I have early Mormons, pamphlets especially, and early American travel books, which are all these books here from 1700 of the United States, including the unknown states at the time, heading out west when the states were not formed. They go back to 1700. I got them here.
Would these be printed
on slavery?
Okay. Now, are these printed in Europe, or are they printed in the United States?
No, they're printed in England.
Okay.
Owen.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Let's get personal here, okay?
Please.
On the show, we have a segment called The Third Degree. Okay? Right. So we're going to ask you a series of 5 questions or so.
Wait.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Did you ever never return a book to a library or a friend?
No, I'm very good.
Okay.
I never borrow a book when I have my own.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure book? The kind you read when nobody's watching.
That's very difficult. I love poetry. I love early poetry books because an early first edition poetry is uncorrected. When a famous poet, prints later on, he always corrects his first poetry. But I like it in the pure form when he published his first book. Okay.
All right, one other question. What's the most expensive book you've ever touched or seen?
The one I showed you first, Tyndale, I'm offered $20 million for it, and I've turned it down.
Wow. What's on your nightstand right now?
I'll show you, and then you can see. I have a whole library in my bedroom.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I have two. And I'll show you my nightstand as is. This is on my nightstand. Can you see?
Yes.
Roman art?
Yes, Roman art. And then I got my books here.
Wow. What's your favorite curse word, Owen?
I rarely ever use a curse word.
All right, that's an honor. All right, I got to ad lib here a little bit. If of all the
Roman something. I see you are very interested in Roman architecture.
Yes, I am. I love Italy. I love the classics. I love all the classics.
I've started to get some Latin books, so I have just gotten this book for myself.
Latin for dummies. Yes, very good. I speak Spanish and I understand Latin very well.
This is my new one.
It's brilliant. That's a brilliant book. I love that book.
If you ever had a book that you sold that you could get back tomorrow, what would it be?
90% of my books I refuse to sell.
Oh, the reluctant bookseller. Wow.
I collect, but I rarely sell. Even though I have a business, I don't need to sell. I may sell, I may not.
Okay. So my question is, what did you do when you weren't selling books?
Restoring books. I've got plenty of money. I'm okay.
Okay. You were in business then.
I hold also a huge stamp collection.
You have, or you holding out?
I hold even a more rare stamp collection of books.
You have the Guyana and all the other good stuff.
I have some of the greatest stamps ever done. And I also collect ancient Roman coins.
Wow.
And also ancient Greek coins, which I hold. And I hold a lot of paintings.
You are a Renaissance guy. Holy mackerel. Wow.
I see a comment here that says, Stefan here.
Oh, he's my friend.
Okay, he says, show them the Caesar book.
The Caesar book is exceptionally rare. I'll show you that. This was printed in 1770, which is this book here. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
The illustrations are the most fantastic illustrations I've ever seen in a book. I love illustrated books.
Move the camera very, very slowly. We'll be able to see it better.
Maybe a little further back.
Are they steel engravings, or what do you think they are?
Steel engravings. It's very famous for its plates, but very few survive because people take them out and frame them. And the artist was Magna, one of the great Italian artists.
Are you a breaker, Felix?
Never.
I hear you.
I will never break a book.
Yeah, you're a purist, my friend.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the biographies and autobiographies of our predecessors, like a Rosenbach or a Newton?
No.
Interesting.
Why?
Because they're interesting. You know, A.S.W. Rosenbach was probably the most noted. Edward Newton was probably second. I always say I think of myself more as a Newton than a Rosenbach if I ever can get up to their points of their career.
Do you see this book?
But
This is the
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lincoln's speech when he became president of the United States.
Oh, wow.
This is published in 1861.
Wow. I think I just spoke about that the other day. You don't have just rare things. You have rarer things after rarer than rare things.
And I've also got
It's
Thomas
beautiful.
Paine's books as well here. The Rights of
Wow. You are amazing.
I got a good collection. I'm proud of my collection. I'm going to show you now. I got also early. I collect a huge amount of English Civil War from 1600.
Ah,
I hold stuff. A lot of the pamphlets that come out on that. I hold all the originals. I also hold signatures of famous people as well. Dickens, Byron, many, many famous people. Here's the first handbook on Mormonism that came out.
Nothing would surprise me. Do you have a button Gwinnett? Wow. Is that the 18th? Is that the pamphlet or the book? Is that the original wrappers?
Yes, that's the pamphlet.
What year is that one?
1860.
Okay. Okay, in wraps. Okay.
Are there a lot of Mormon people of Mormon faith in Great Britain?
Repeat again.
Are there people of the Mormon faith in the British Isles today?
Very few.
I thought so.
Very few.
We have several booksellers who specialize in the Mormon Church because there's obviously a lot of material here, and I was surprised to see something like that. That obviously was an American book, but did you get? I'm not trying to be personal. Did that come from American auction house, or was it?
No.
British?
No. I buy these privately. I go on the road about a few months each year. I travel around the British Isles, because in Ireland you can just take the car over. You're there in a couple of hours in England. So I tour around during the summer, and I go and I just knock at doors and buy books.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is this by appointment, or you're really a good hunter, my
I'm
friend?
a great
You are
hunter.
real.
The fun is the
It's the
chase.
thrill of the hunt.
The chase.
The thrill of the
I can
hunt.
go to 100 houses and see rubbish, but I can go to one house and find gold.
You know what would happen if you did that here? You'd be digging lead out of your boot.
I must ask you.
Think about it. Hi, I want to buy your books. Bang. Wow, I am envious. I am absolutely.
But
I love it. I love it.
But
wow.
When you go scouting, do you wear a disguise, or do people?
Never.
You're obviously probably fairly famous in the book business.
I'm known. I'm well known. This is an early American book. This one is Discovery of America by the Northmen in the 10th century. Was published in 1842.
Are there any houses for sale in your neighborhood? I'm moving in, buddy.
Ask him if he knows Michael in England.
He doesn't. I'm moving
Maybe.
in. Oh, okay. Wait, it's hard to do this.
And I have South American books as well. I got black magic books. I got loads of philosophy books.
What's the weirdest thing you have in your house?
Besides
you must have
myself?
some strange.
Besides myself?
Well, yeah, all right. Touche. Yo también.
I tell you what I have. I have an original horoscope book from 1620 that I restored. I'll show it to you now.
Wow. Check out the delineations from March 30th. Let me know if I would have been happy that day in 1600.
This is called Horoscopia. It's in Latin. But the last time the comet came around, Halley's Comet, in 1500 is recorded in the hand-colored title, which I'll show you.
Wow.
See that?
Oh, my.
Beautiful.
What is it?
It's just amazing.
That book was around when Halley's Comet was passing the planet.
Oh,
the
my
illustrations
God.
are
Yeah, in 1570 or something.
I am
Okay,
just in awe.
I'm gonna give the headset to
Go
you.
ahead. Go ahead. You do it.
Okay.
I leave him for the show because he's fantastic.
You are fantastic.
When
I've
you
never
say
seen
you
a
restore
like
books. Do you
before.
work on bindings or just the
Older, and you
text
are
book itself?
Can't
Or
hear
do
you.
a binding
We
now
can't hear you.
also?
One person, yes. Ask
What time do you get up in the morning?
me. I'm a very early riser. 6 o'clock.
Wow. Very
Wow.
impressive, man, Owen. If you're ever in Miami, I would love to take you out on a whirlwind tour. If we're over there, you go shopping. I'm going to Owen's house.
I want to go to Owen's house too.
You'll be more than welcome.
Oh, my goodness.
You'll be very more than welcome.
Owen, have you ever been to Hay on the Wire?
I'd never go there. No.
Okay, that tells me what I want to know. For those of you who are listening who don't know, Hay on the Wire is a town in England that is nothing but book dealers and bookshops and things like that.
It's become too commercial.
Yeah.
If you really want great books, you have to go to rural areas. You got to go to rural auctions. You got to go to rural advertising, and you'll pick up some great books.
I love what you do. If there was a medal for Olympic book buying, you would be my recipient. I mean, it's amazing. I'm awed. I remember seeing books in nothing like this in New York, but wow.
Owen,
Yes.
I am also a academic. I love research and such. Do you have a fairly good database inventory of your books?
Of course.
Well organized?
Of course, I'm a great researcher. I'm a great archivist. By the way, if you Google me on the net, I'm the man that found the Kennedy letters.
Oh my God!
Letters, and they were stolen here in Ireland, and the police called me in to find them, and I found them.
I've reported about this on my radio program. What happened to them? The Kennedy family came in and bought them because they didn't want them published.
No. I offered them $5 million for the books, for the letters. But I found them. The letters were stolen and were missing for a number of years. And then the college that had them had called the police here in. The police didn't know what to do. They're not familiar with this field of mine. So they approached me and asked me, and I came along to the college, and I found the books I found the letters in a couple of days. They were
Wow.
priest.
Interesting.
And the letters are fantastic because they were never published, but the Kennedy didn't want them published, and the Kennedy letters tried to shut me down, the Kennedy family, but they bought them. They didn't buy them. They got them through skullduggery back to the Kennedy Library in thing.
Do you think that, I'm sure you've got to know about this, that train they found in Poland? Do you think that's real or hoax?
No, I think that's real.
Yeah. I'm so, unfortunately, the origin, but I am so looking forward to seeing what's on board that train. That's the train that they found. For those of you who aren't aware of it, that's the train they found supposedly in a mountain in Poland full of ill-gotten Nazi loot. You are an amazing man, Owen. I'm absolutely flabbergasted, and that doesn't happen often with me. Unbelievable, beautiful things. I hope you'll join us again.
I'd be more than happy to join. You're welcome to text me if you want, Skype 1-on-1. I'm on Skype. Just let me know, send me an email, and I'll stay in touch.
We certainly will.
Yeah.
And
if you want to come anytime you're in this end of the world, you're more than welcome.
well,
Thank you very much, sir. It was a treat to have you.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
a
Thank
superb
you.
cook, and I keep a wonderful wine cellar.
What's your rarest bottle? You got an 1896 Lafite Rothschild?
Well, I hold the oldest bottle of Irish whiskey in the world.
Yeah, what year?
1882, complete.
Wow.
The date is on the bottle.
Yes. Very, very
Okay. All right. I got one. If you answer yes to this, I'm not going to be surprised. The 1858 Cuban tobacco crop wound up wagoned out to a mansion, and I believe it was Ireland. They were using these $1,000 cigars as Kindle till they were down to the last couple of boxes.
Yeah.
You know about it?
No, that's news to me.
Oh, this was a while ago, but I figured if anybody had one of those cigars, it was you, my friend.
No, I've never smoked in my life, and I'd never have cigars in my house.
Well, you had to use that word right now. Huh? I've been so good.
Good for you.
And the best whiskey in the world is Irish whiskey. The best thing.
True.
And the oldest whiskey in the world is Irish whiskey, not Scottish.
Well, Owen, it was a pleasure, an absolute pleasure having you as a guest on the show today. I look forward to more.
These are from Captain Cook's voyage, original sketches when you discovered the islands.
Wow, yes.
Colored sketches by a guy called Hawksworth, who wrote the books on Captain Cook's voyage. He was on the ships when he found Fiji and all the islands leading into Australia. And these are the originals, all hand-painted.
Beautiful.
And I have a whole series of them.
Wow. Owen, thank you for being a guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for joining us today on the... Go ahead, Seth. Thorne, were you going to say something?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for joining us today. The next episode of the Rare Book Cafe on Blab.im will be Wednesday at 2:30. Join us again next weekend on Bucks on the Bookshelf on WDBFradio.com. Join us at 2:30 at the Rare Book Cafe. 3:30.
Yes.
I'll be sitting up straight in my chair because I won't have a painful back. My appraisal will be done. Remember that the condo, I resigned from the condo board, just to let you know. I give up. Can't deal with idiots anymore. The Rare Book Cafe is brought to you by the Florida Antiquarian Book Fair, celebrating 35 years in March 2016. The Florida Antiquarian Book Fair features more than 100 book dealers from all over the country. For book lovers, it's paradise. We hope you feel the same way about this show. And we'll see you all next week, same time, same station. Thank you for joining us. Thorne, thank you.
Go on my side.
Oh, Owen, I'll never forget you, and you stay in touch.
Well,
Allan,
stop the recording.
Send me your emails, and I'll respond to everybody.
It will be a pleasure, sir. Allan, thank you.
I wish I could speak more to all of you.
You will. Oh, guaranteed you will. Anytime you want to join us, pop in. It's an open format.
Yeah, and anytime you want a rare book to talk about specifically, I'll talk about it.
Oh, anytime I want to see it, I think all I got to do is ask you.
Okay.
Thank you, and have a great evening, folks. May all your book sales be happy trails to you. I'll do it next week. I can't remember it right now. And Pepe Herrera and Chico Lopez, wherever you are, good night. Am I clicking off completely or knock out record first, Allan?
One more thing.
Sure, Owen.
Passport signed by Jefferson, President Jefferson, and is there Thomas Jefferson signed passport? Which is
Wow.
Do you see?
Wow.
Can you see?
Yes, I'll hold it up a little higher. A little high. No, you're going the wrong way. Whatever way I told you, go the other way. And back. You're too close. Too close. There we go. We don't see the signature, but we see the printing.
The signature is down here. It's signed here.
I wonder what would happen if you took that through customs.
Yeah, wow. Nice. A man with wonderful things. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. Owen, just join us next week. You got the open invitation. Like everybody else that's listening, we want you to join us. Am I knocking off the record button now?